Listen, pro-life people, the world is overpopulated. Look around you. You don't give a shit about all these people. You want more fucking kids out there. You want people to struggle to raise children. When they don't have enough money to do so, they don't have the responsibility, the maturity to do so. It doesn't make any sense, okay? I get this whole idealistic angle of, not aborting a baby, of letting a natural birth come to fruition and not killing off, these young ones and preborn children and everything. Like, I understand that. It makes sense. Like, that's a nice, sentimental, idealistic message and belief system. But we don't live in an idealistic society. We don't have an idealistic world here, okay? This whole system, this whole thing is fucked up, all right? And everything is unnatural. Everything we do is unnatural. We're all pursuing greedy interests, have high technology, don't give a fuck about the environment. The population is skyrocketing. If you look at the Earth's population, the human population from the beginning of human time until now, and you look at it, it's like a chart over time. For thousands of years, our population growth goes like this. It's like nothing. In the last 100 years, it goes up, skyrockets, man. It's off the fucking charts. In the last 100 years, we went from 2 billion people to 7.5 billion. It took us thousands of years to get to 2 billion. And just the last 100 to get to 7.5. To increase by 5.5 billion people. At least. The next census is coming out next year. And we'll see what the numbers are then. The world is terribly overpopulated, all right? And the natural resources, the environment is suffering from all of this. And you want to force people who happen to get pregnant by one means or another to give birth to a baby that they obviously don't want, that they don't want to support, that they don't want to have to go through all the trials and tribulations of raising. And I'm seeing that most of your reasons for this are petty grievances, like your own petty reasons. You don't like girls and young people, having casual sex and, getting pregnant, premarital sex and relations and all that. And so you want to take it out on them by forcing them to raise the children that, someone might get pregnant by. It's like, that is such a petty reason to force a, shitty and unprepared parents onto a child for. It's starting to rain here. There's no, you got to have real reasons. You got to have a bigger picture than, your Christian beliefs, your religious beliefs, or just not wanting people to have casual sex and get pregnant and everything. Like, I get all that, and I can support those different reasons, but a way to take that out on people is not to fucking make them raise a child when they aren't ready for it. It doesn't make any sense at all. And let's not pretend like you actually even give a shit about the kids in most of the cases. I think it's very funny, and, comedians, in particular George Carlin, I can think of, Carlin has talked about this, that these conservatives, these pro-life people, they care so much about the fetus, the unborn fetus, and they want it to live, and they want to prevent abortions from happening, but they're also against welfare, they're against government assistance, they're against, caring about underprivileged children and underprivileged mothers and families. Those two things don't go hand in hand. Obviously, you aren't really giving a shit about the parents. You aren't giving a shit about the family and the child and everything. You just are trying to superimpose your belief structure on other people because of your grievances and your personal issues. I mean, you need to find another outlet to release your anguish to release your anger, your problems, and try and find another solution than to tell women to give birth to babies that they don't want. It doesn't make any sense. Like, half the people that are pro-life, let's get real, they're having casual sex too. You know, maybe some of you guys are goodies, you know, super religious, not having premarital sex, not having sex unless you're ready to have a child. That's a very small percentage of the population, all right? People are out here getting down. People are out here having the boogie, you know. And it doesn't make sense for you to be telling them what to do with their bodies. Now, again, if we lived in a perfect world, if we lived in a perfect, you know, community where our population was in check and we actually had real ideals and real values and a real belief system, I can understand, like, you know, not wanting people to abort their children and all that, and because, you know, it doesn't make sense. It's not like a good thing to do, you know, probably ultimately, but it's not the world we live in. The world we live in, we need to fucking control this population. Look around, look at the streets, look at the traffic. Like, humans are not doing anything good for this freaking planet currently. Alright, we need less of them, not more. So, I don't know, I get really worked up about all this abortion stuff, this pro-life. I think women should be able to do what they want with their children. They're the ones that are going to be raising these motherfuckers for 18, 20 plus years, and you want to force them to just have the baby and then just leave it at that. Just forget about it. What about the next fucking 20 years there, Chief? Okay? They're the ones that are going to be responsible for this baby. Like, it's their choice. It's their life. And the father, you know, the joint decisions. It's not your place to go and tell mothers to have children. Like, you know, their child's life is in their hands the moment they give birth to it. Why can't that child's life be in their hands before they give birth to it? You know, they're the ones that are going to be doing everything for this child, and, you know, the decision to actually have the baby is not in their control. Not their decision. That's bullshit, man. I don't believe in the sanctity of human life. The sacredness of human life. You know, it's a fallacy. I mean, if people want to have children, have them. We can love them. I know I'm kind of rambling at this point, but you know, it doesn't make any sense. Our society, our community, our system is completely flawed and completely fucked up, and you know, and pretty much virtually everyone agrees on that, but yet we have like half the fucking population of the United States believes in this thing called pro-life or anti-abortion. To want to put as many new people into the system as possible that we all can agree on is fucked up. That doesn't make any sense. Okay? Do you know how much stress you're putting on a young couple, a young mother, a young child, to have a baby when they aren't ready for it, when they don't have the financial capabilities for it, when they don't have the responsibility, they're not mature enough to fucking do this? You're putting so much stress and strain on the parents, but then primarily you're putting it on the child. Okay, that child is going to grow up in a family and a system and a community that is not ready for them in a lot of situations. And you're really making it hard for them to have a proper upbringing to where they're going to be brought up with the proper values and beliefs and knowledge upload into our system to be a well-developed human being by the time they're 18, 20 years old, or, you know, somewhere above there. You know, you're fucking over everything by forcing people to have their babies when they're not ready to. Like, it's just complete bullshit, man. I agree with, this is the weird thing, like, I agree that we need a quality family structure. You know, there needs to be not so many single parents, and, I mean, I'm a traditionalist in a lot of these ways, but I'm also very firmly believing that, we need to let women do what they want with their bodies. Okay? I think that the more children that are brought up in a two-parent household, or at least a freaking household that's prepared to raise them, is the biggest goal here. And forcing people to have children when they don't want them is the opposite of that goal. And I'm pretty sure most of the conservative right-wingers that I know of and that I've met and that I'm friends with, like, they're in support of this two-parent household system. They're in support of this, quality traditional family upbringing. And it's like, you're doing more harm to that by forcing anti-abortion laws into effect. You know, you're making more children grow up in shitty environments, in underprivileged environments, and making their childhoods, uncomfortable and a struggle. It just makes absolutely no sense. With all the bigger fucking issues we got going on, we're focusing on whether some girl who doesn't want to have a baby yet is, we're going to force her to give birth to that baby and raise it from a young age. Like, it's just bullshit. Like, try to find the compassion in your heart, not for the unborn child, for the unborn child, and for the mother and for the father of these babies, okay? Because you're making them all struggle. You're making them all live a shittier existence and harming our society and harming our community as a whole by forcing these abortions not to happen.